We promised to deliver a proper constitutional review. In the first year, we've delivered visible progress. The government has gazetted the Constitutional Amendment Bill, which seeks to establish a constitutional court. The bill is ready for debate in the current session of Parliament. This will pave way for a nationwide referendum on the review of the Constitution. Consultations are expected to commence in 2026. We follow the model set by South Africa, whereby the establishment of a constitutional court preceded the constitutional review, so that thereafter there's a forum specially designated to test the rigors and contours of the new constitution before ratifying it into law. We reaffirm our abiding fidelity to the promise of a comprehensive constitutional review. We promise to deliver a sovereign wealth fund that will accelerate Botswana's strategic investments across the globe, ensuring wealth not just for future generations, but even for current generations. We have delivered on this promise, and the Sovereign Wealth Fund has commenced work. We promised to pay a living wage of 4,000 pula. Not only has the private sector continued to overwhelmingly embrace this development, we too, as government, have reached a historic milestone wherein an agreement was reached between government and 7 public sector unions to pay this living wage effective July 2025. When we were faced with a situation of critical shortage of medicine, your government, and through the efforts of friendly nations and international partners, came to swift action. We managed to purchase and obtain donations of medicines worth over 500 million pula, and still counting. Under pressure of an acute shortage, we could not fully exact the levels of saving we otherwise would have if we were procuring under more hospitable circumstances. The systemic challenges of the current value chain of providing medicines have been entrenched for decades, and we are dealing with them boldly to uproot their inefficiencies as quickly as possible. These accomplishments are just the beginning, and we can and we will continue to do more as we move into the next year. However, in the face of real economic challenges, the challenges that our country faces, these accomplishments must not be downplayed. Let us continue to be a nation that possesses the grace of gratitude for what we have achieved under these circumstances, without losing hope for better achievements. We've also made good strides in non-financial objectives that we set in the last State of the Nation address. We've begun rebuilding the nation's trust in its institutions. We've made key appointments to a number of ministries and statutory entities. We have made meritocratic appointments to the judiciary. We've made appointments to the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. We've welcomed a new commander of the Botswana Defence Force. We've made appointments at the Attorney General's chambers. We've made board appointments to parastatals that have begun turning their entities around. We've employed public servants in various positions throughout different ministries whose impact is felt daily. We will continue to make the right appointments. This government does not discriminate. We promised to deliver dignity to all persons in this country, and we began by burying a man in his ancestral home as one of this government's first acts in leadership. We have upheld freedom of speech and expression and given Botswana their voice back. And we saw, flowing from that, enraged, sometimes frustrated members of the population take to the streets in exercise of their freedom on several occasions without any fear of police brutality. Most recently, we introduced different languages to national news broadcast. This is your Botswana. You are safe here. You are part of this country's story. When the resentful accuse the UDC government of trampling people's rights, remind them that for the first time in a long time, the rights we are enjoying in this country are not words on a fading parchment, but are tangible and real. They flow from that grand power of attorney, the Constitution of this republic. There is no looking back on this journey that we've started together. We march forward. We aren't tripping, but we may stumble sometimes. Botswana, your elected representatives spent a better part of the past few months traversing the breadth and dimensions of our country, listening to your ideas on how to take Botswana forward. Based on your valuable ideas and insights, we refined our roadmap as government to building, step by step, the Botswana we all envision, that of a nation of shared prosperity, of dignity, and of sustainable growth that leaves no one behind. We have begun shifting Botswana's public service and political culture towards promoting greater accountability, launching with intent comprehensive economic diversification programs, renegotiating our position in the global diamond market, and responding decisively to the acute crisis, particularly in our healthcare and education system. The UDC manifesto is a social contract upon which Botswana based their decision to appoint the UDC to lead and usher them into a new Botswana of infinite possibilities. Everything that we do, therefore, including especially the National Development Plan and indeed the Botswana Economic Transformation Program, BETP, all draw inspiration directly from and are anchored on this social compact. As such, my address to you today aligns with the pillars of this sacred national social contract. The first pillar, building a deep economy that offers each citizen opportunities for a happy and fulfilled life. Botswana has experienced challenges before, and each time we've emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. As the great Nelson Mandela reminded us, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Botswana have always risen, and I declare to you, with full conviction and fortified hope, Botswana is rising again to heights she has never reached before. The steady path we traverse as we navigate our economic challenges, though urgent, is not one of hasty shortcuts. It is a path of hard work and tangible progress aimed at diversifying the economy for resilience and laying the foundation for sustained growth anchored on good governance, security, and institutional performance that will endure for generations. In order to address these challenges, the government engaged in a rigorous process to develop the 12th National Development Plan, NDP 12. NDP 12 emphasizes inclusive growth built through a private sector-led economy. It buttresses ambitions that refocus the development process to drive towards our true north, a definition of our core principles and enduring ideals of our government